Hello YouTube, Damo_23 here and welcome back to another episode here on the YouTube channel. In today's video, I said it was going to be only a game against Manchester City, but after their midweek fixture and the result they got, I have to give you this Arsenal game as well. With that being said, give the episode a like, do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Without further ado, let's get into Manchester City and that midweek fixture. They played Newcastle at St James's Park and it finished 1-1 in that game. That is correct, which means that we currently are top of the table by 2 points. And it means if we win out and if we can beat Arsenal at home today, beat Everton in the midweek game, beat Man City at home at the end of the week, we could have ourselves a bit of a gap at the top of the table and really set ourselves up to win the Premier League. With that being said, I think that is a very difficult task. So if we could, draw against Man City or Arsenal, beat Everton and win the other one of those games, I'm over the moon. I did say if we draw it against Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool and Man United and win the rest of the games, I think we would go close or if not win the Premier League. My only issue is that sets you up for failure. You get a bad game against Spurs or you'll draw against Leeds or Swansea or Brentford away from home. All of a sudden you set yourself up to be surpassed by a Manchester City side or a Chelsea side on the Ange that's playing great football to surpass you late doors because you didn't take enough points away from those games in and around you. So we're not going to be doing that. Since we last met, nothing else has happened. It's a 1-1 draw here. And we're going to get straight into today's action because we do have 2 games to get through. Hopefully we do well. Now, in terms of what we are going to do today is we are going to give Ben Doak a start. He's been in better form, and we did mention in the last episode, if you haven't checked it out, go check it out, that a lot of our goals at the moment are coming from the boys off the bench. Mohamed's averaging a 7.42 in the last 5. Nestry's playing that well at the moment in the cup competitions that he's currently playing at a 4-star, and probably the guy that I'm going to look to off the bench over Junior, who we're dropping today. And Ben Doak doesn't start because for whatever reason, he's just not naturally fit enough. Even though he's got 13 fitness, seems to not have enough stamina with 11 and 13 to last 90. So I generally bring him off the bench as a super sub, but today he needs to start, give me a good solid 60 minutes and hopefully find me a goal. We are looking at, obviously, Consigli hopefully being a lot better today. His form has taken a turn for the worst. As you can see, a few 6.7s, only one 7.2 in the last 5 has been really, really, really not good. And Josh Herman, as much as he's been scoring goals this season, doing okay, doesn't do enough, I feel. I think for a world-class striker, you need him to be scoring more than 1 goal a game, at times. You need him to be almost Haaland-like. And a lot of these games, he's having some chances, he's having a lot more shots that we should be scoring from. As you can see, his shots against Aston Villa, 3 on target, 1.41 XG, only a goal. Straight away, 4 shots here against Birmingham, only scored a goal. 2 shots here, shot here. Actually, no shots in both of them. Straight away here, look, we're looking at couple shots here, only a goal. Here, 3 shots against West Ham, 0.94 XG, 6.3 average rating. The problem with me and Josh is that as much as I like him and as much as I think he's fantastic and I think he's world class, I've had the likes of a Nicholas Adrian at Sunderland who would score 2 goals a game. If Adrian in a big game had 2 big chances, I know that Adrian would score. I know if it's a 90th minute in the FA Cup final, or Europa League final, or Champions League final, if Adrian gets an opportunity, he will score, where Herman, I think, will miss a lot. Same with Fabio Silva when I was at FC Metz a couple of seasons ago. We won everything. We went undefeated a couple of times in France. Same with James Margetts towards the end of my time at 1860, would score big amounts of goals in the league. For me, Josh Herman is just... He's at that next level of being a world-class striker, but he's not being consistent enough on my eyes. And same with Consigli. Last 5, 6.88, 6.74 in a world-class team is not really good enough. And so I really see us not doing well. Lastly, Dedes. Obviously, hopefully we go big here. He played okay in a couple of games. I've got to say, his first 2 Premier League games for us is against Chelsea, who are second, Arsenal the top 4, may get rotated against Everton, and then play Manchester City. Poor bloke. Has come into this title fight. And look, if I don't win the title, I'm going to hold my hands up and say selling Mariba for 78 million, yes, I think long-term is a good move, but to win the Premier League this season might have been a mistake. Anyway, your team for today is going to be Dominguez, Robertson, Cunnington, Parsons, and Walter coming in for the injured U-Doggy. Koulibaly, Desiree Due, and Dedes will get another start. Doak on the right. We've got Consigli and Herman off the bench. Look out for Mohamed and Nestry in the form they're in, and probably even Caputo off the bench as well. And Andrea Lorenzi with the form he's in, scoring from centre-back, might be the centre-back change if we need one as well. Let's get into this Arsenal team here. It's Rambo in net. It's Saliba, who still looks world-class at right-back. He's probably better at centre-back. I'm glad Bajatek and Declan Rice are at centre-back because they're both not 100% the most physical, and hopefully Herman can give them a run for the money. Alex Valle looks fantastic. Tushameni's there. Martin Odegaard's fantastic as well. Kay Havertz, have a look at him. He looks fantastic. Saka's on the right. Martinelli on the left. And Ben Beachy is a world-class striker at Arsenal, and he looks fantastic, can only get better. If you look at the bench, you got Brandwaite, who is pretty quality in FM. You got Ethan, who grows into a world-class player, arguably should be starting. Gabriel Jesus on the backup. Adigon, I could have bought, decided not to. And in the end, he's grown into a fantastic player. Hakimi's here too. OG Sung looks decent as a centre-back as well. Morgan Husser, I don't know who this is. Must be a new guy, or I've never seen him. And Sacha Bowie is okay too, but that's a very solid Arsenal side. Let's get in here. Let's see what we can do. At the racecourse, I think if we're going to win the title, these sort of games, we have to find a way to win. I think Arsenal are fourth, not in direct competition with us in the title. You know, they're a good side, but they're not quite in the title fight with Chelsea and Man City are. Same with Liverpool at the moment too. I think when they're not having their best year, this is the sort of game we need to win. Now, in saying that, if Arsenal won today and results went their way, yeah, they're probably still in the title fight. But when you're 10 points clear of a side, I think you need to start going, okay, we're better than them. And that's the sort of thing we need to win this game. Manchester City, different story. Draw against Man City at home, I'll probably hold my hands up and take it. Second minute in, Odegaard, backstick ball. Beachy heads, and that's going to be wide. Of late, we haven't been having fast enough starts. Like, we've been struggling to have a good amount of chances against the weaker sides and putting them to bed and then scoring later. Or against sides where we dominate, haven't been scoring many. And that's a poor ball for Malta. But Consigli wins it back and falls back to Saliba, but falls to Desiree Due. Weird highlight. Consigli now, he knows how to score. Desiree Due now, wow, that's a big miss. Desiree Due just needed to put it on target. Rambo was rooted to the spot, and he's put it just past the post. It really should have been 1-0. Wrexham, big chance for a world-class centre midfielder. In the end, though, it is 0-0. Very even game to look at, though. Looking at the match momentum, pretty even each way. Consigli goes towards the backstick. Cunnington's a big boy. Doesn't win it. Falls to Josh Herman lurking, which I don't mind because he's not the biggest in the box. That ball towards Rambo is going to be uncontested, overcooked, and not the greatest there from Josh. Badger Tech goes long. Can we win this one? Yes, we can. Robertson does very well. Ben Doak was in the space, ignored. Backstick ball. Consigli's a big boy. He's a big boy. Consigli scores. Breaks a semi-little drought of not scoring or not being clinical enough. And in the end, we lead 1-0. The ball out. Can understand why that they played that ball. Was under hit and Robertson picked it off. And being a world-class right back, hangs it towards the back stick. Consigli is a big boy. He is up against Saliba, who probably should win that one a little bit more often than not. Doesn't though. Good header. And we lead 1-0 through Consigli at the back stick. And that's why we paid 104 million for him. Corner now. Ben Doak. Cuts it back to Consigli. Backstick. Parsons, a big boy. Heads just wide. Could have been 2-0 up through two headers. That's massive. That's a big miss. I think Parsons, when he wins that, has to hit the target. Force Rambo into a big save if we could. If you look at the match stats so far, they've had a bit more of the ball, but we are creating chances, which we haven't been doing a lot of late. So this is very good from us. Dennis must have picked up a knock here, because he's on a 6.9 and looks a little bit legless. He's getting to grips in the Premier League, so I don't mind this too much. Seems to be okay now, so we're going to keep him out there. I think we've done okay here, boys. I think we've done okay. Going to give Dennis another 5 minutes or so, see if he shakes it off completely. Looks like he has, to be fair, already. 11 shot 7, 1.49 XG, but the goals haven't come yet. The goals haven't come yet. Consigli looks dead. Dias started the best of the game. 67 minutes played. Let's make some changes. Dennis is going to come off here for Caputo, who's been in good form. Doak's going to come off for Junior. Neshri's going to come in for Consigli. And Mohamed's been scoring goals. 4 changes up front to try and hit him on the break. Robertson with the long throw. Falls back to Robertson. Parsons. Robertson. Is this a pointless highlight? Are we creating a chance? Walter. Robinson. Cunnington. Desiree Due. Consigli. Doak was in the space. Ignored. Robinson. Ben Doak. Desiree Due. What a move. I think he's offside. Good football though. But I think he's offside. It's going to still stay 1-0. Unfortunate. But it is what it is. Yeah, offside by a mile. Changes made. They look a little bit tired. We look pretty good. Desiree Due's looking a little bit tired out there too. 77 minutes played. I'm going to bring him off here. I think that's going to be for George Davis, and that's going to be more as a ball-winning midfielder on support. A little bit more pragmatic. I'm going to move to an advanced playmaker on attack from Matteo Caputo. As things stand, we lead 1-0. I think we're dominating the game enough to leave it as it is at the moment in terms of the system. Time ticks away here. It would be a massive clean sheet. But yet again, in a big game, we haven't scored enough goals. But that's a big win, boys. We win 1-0 here against Arsenal. That's a huge win in the context of this season. It's a clean sheet. It's dominant enough. But realistically, if we're a world-class side and we are winning the Premier League, when you're having 13 shots, 8 on target and dominating and limiting your opponent to 2 shots, 1, you have to be scoring 2-3 goals like Man City do. We haven't done that. But it's a clean sheet. We don't keep many of them. We didn't play well, but I'm happy. And there we go. That's a win. And that's the main thing. That is a big, big, big win. Now we go 5 points clear of Manchester City. Dennis is out for 1 to 3 days. That's fine. Walter's coming back from injury. That's okay. Now, let's go forward and see what the results are for Chelsea and Man City here quickly, because we need to keep an eye on this. Chelsea drew. They conceded in the 85th minute to Leicester. Nice. A little bit FM, but not majorly. And Man City won 4-0. Haaland got a hat-trick. How many goals has Haaland got this season? 20 and 18. Okay, that's scary. But yeah, not bad. I think we did well. We got a clean sheet, big game. I think what we have to do here is against Everton or 16th, full strength, hope we go dominant, win by a few goals to get the goal difference up, and then move into the next game against Manchester City. Here we are, Wrexham Man City, race course, first versus second. We're 4 points clear. Why are we 4 points clear? Because Man City drew to Forest. That is correct. Manchester City drew to Nottingham Forest, where they absolutely dominated, and Phil Foden scored an own goal, and Forest held on for dear life. We love that. We really do. In terms of for us, though, we played Everton. We won 3-1. I made a couple changes here. The game keeps telling me to play Consigli through the middle, and this is why, because he's 4.5-star world class in the middle, where he's 4-star on the left. I did that. Herman played on the left, did not play well at all, but Consigli scored a very nice headed goal. Off the bench, Caputo also scored a very nice goal. Mohamed off the bench up front scored yet again. So, yet again, the bench players playing well. That much so, I've decided to make a little bit of a change for today. Arthur's back enough to be on the bench, which is great. Consigli's going to start. I have not had no draw an inside forward on attack. I've had no draw with any real of the ringer roles. You know, the winger on attack hasn't really been working. You know, the only players that have played well out wide is Nestri and Kuta as an inverted winger on support. And that's about it, really. So, with that all being said, I've decided I'm going to put Herman outside on the left as an inside forward on attack to allow Consigli to play in his best role. When I'm hoping that jigs is us to just score more goals more freely because we've got a world-class striker, which Herman is, but maybe just need that little bit of a change to jig something up front for those few. Junior's had a pretty much of a stinker, but I'm going to persist with Ben Dyke off the bench. Same with Nestri. And it's getting to the point that almost Mohamed needs to get into this team too with the form he's in and put him up front and maybe look to move maybe the system. I'm almost tempted next year to maybe change the system to a narrow system and actually change Junior to play through the middle of the park as kind of like some shadow striker and then go into like a 4-2-2-2-2, something like that. But yeah, it's something to think about, not something that I would do, but something to think about maybe moving forward, just to try and get the best out of the team. With that being said, the only other change that I've decided to put Caputo in, you know, he's got 10 goals this season from the middle of the park, plays well, generally speaking, most times than not. I think he's more versed to the Premier League. I think, you know, Dimitri Dennis, he picked up a little bit of a knock against Everton, didn't play amazing. I tried him as a Mazzala on attack. Yeah, I think it's one of those things, you know, players generally, when they come to the Premier League, take 6 months to embed. But what I really hoped by betting 78 million on him was because of his physicals, you just come in, dominate, and do all right. Now, part of me thinking maybe moving towards some sort of narrower system is, A, we haven't had really good amount of wingers play well this season. You know, Dyke's had a decent year, Nestri's had a good year, but realistically, it's been mainly the middle guys that played well. That, you know, if we went to a 4-2-2-2, Dimitri Dennis as a shadow striker would be dynamite. So I'm thinking maybe that's the best of how we get into him. But yeah, obviously at the moment, not been good enough of late. I'm going to play him off the bench in this game, maybe as an impact player. And then hopefully, fingers crossed, he plays well against Fulham in the FA Cup in the not too distant future. I'll start Caputo in these bigger games if he plays well today against Man City. And I think that's what we're going to do to the end of the season. And hopefully Dennis towards the end of the season starts to show some form. So your team is going to be Dominguez, Robinson. Oliveira is going to play because he's still unhappy with the amount of minutes that he's had. I have a promise on him to try and make him happy. So going to play him against City, and then against Fulham should be the last that we can play him to make him happy. Hopefully he becomes happy because I need him to be happy. Walter's going to play yet again at left back because Destiny, your doggy's not back fit. Koulibaly, Desiree Dou's been playing fantastic at the moment. Puto comes in. Junior gets his spot just to allow Ben Doak off the bench. Herman's going to play inside forward on attack. Hopefully see something from him. And Consigli plays up front in his more preferred role. It's taken a lot for me to take Josh Herman out there. Just Josh hasn't scored enough of late. I've told the boys to stay relaxed. Let's go and have a look at this Manchester City side that's pushing us for the title. They've got Hidel in net, who's fantastic. Rico Lewis grows into a world-class right-back. We know this. Bamba from Italy is a physical specimen. Seven Botman on FM is very world-class, especially mentally. And Guardiola is obviously fantastic too. Alan Valera is a world-class centre defensive midfielder. Adam Wharton, probably out of all of them, is just well-rounded. Not great, but not bad. Rodrigo's fantastic, world-class. Oscar Gulak is fantastic as well. Victor made the mistake of saying, Haaland got injured last time we played him. Victor was on it. We should be okay. And he scored. And Haaland has got 20 goals in 18 when we last checked. I don't want to check right now. When you're looking at the bench, you've got a Taylor Williams guy who's a Welsh keeper who looks pretty decent. Marco Pellegrino is a backup, looks very well class. Mario Bastita looks fantastic. Mateus Cunha is world class as a backup striker. Alvaro looks pretty good. Matteo Ruggeri probably could arguably be starting. Daniel Noski looks fairly decent. Migani doesn't look that good, and James Weaver's not the greatest either. I think they've got a few English guys on the bench for maybe, Man City have always had a problem with English homegrown quota, so it looks like they've done that a little bit there, but their starting 11 is world class. Big game here at the race course. Know that we win today against Man City, we're in prime position to win the league. Know if we do not win today, it's not great, but knowing City draw against Forest, I'll take a draw here and just get out of this right now with a point. And leave ourselves 4 points clear with 10 to go, knowing that we got Liverpool, Man City coming up, but in a not bad spot. As you can see here, though, 15 minutes in, we've had more possession, but a highlight in Manchester City's half. And Dukanovic finds Valera. Adam Wharton with a ball out to Rodrigo. Walter, Haaland, that should be a goal. It is a goal. Haaland scores, but 1-0 down. Unfortunate there. Looked onside to me. I think we're 1-0 down inside 15 minutes, slightly against the run of play. They're not celebrating, though. Offside. We'll take it. It is going to be 0-0. We're lucky. Adam Wharton, ball over the top. Just offside. Arguably, to be fair, looking at that replay, it probably looks more level than anything. But we'll take it, and it's 0-0. See what happens here. Hopefully playing Josh Herman as an inside forward on attack, he just focuses on making darting runs into the box, and off we go. Even though we've had more shots and even possession, it seems like Man City have been the better of the two teams here, which is a bit annoying. I'm going to get the demand more in there, or the shout of demand more in there, late doors here in this half. And Junior decides he forgot the ball at his feet. Into Guardiola. Robinson with a tackle outside the box by a mile. Apparently Robinson's picked up an injury here, which is not good. It's outside the box by a mile. Hopefully Robinson's okay. Bruised ankle. Okay, by half time he should be pretty well over that. Right, not bad. Far from pleased what I saw from the team, but if we can stay 0-0 here, I'm pretty okay. Should be all right here, Robinson. We do have Cunnington on the bench. He can come in and play inverted wing back and be a bit more defensively solid, which is something I might do considering it's Manchester City. All right, I'm going to make some changes here. Robinson has got that knock. I am going to bring in Cunnington. I'm going to go to inverted wing back here. Just let him sit in. No overlap. That's fine. We're going to bring in Ben Dyke on one side. We're going to bring in Herman out for Neshri Rakunda on the other side. And we're going to bring Mohamed up front. Desiree Dou's picked up a little bit of a knock. I'm going to bring in Dimitri Dedes as well. And move these two around. And there we go. That is your team. Let's see what happens here. Corner, Ruggeri. Backstick towards Alvaro. Penalty. Wow. Shove in the box, really? Doesn't happen, never gets called in real life. Gets called every time on FM. Dominguez, you're a world-class keeper. Off we go, buddy. Haaland is world-class, though. Erling Haaland versus Dominguez. This is a hard one to save, Dominguez. Fingertips onto the post. Massive in the context of this season. Haaland's been foiled from the spot. Big boy. Big energy for the best keeper in the world. Rico Lewis. Guardiola, we press. Mohamed probably should have won it. Pellegrino off the bench at centre-back. Ruggieri looking to squeeze up. Guardiola inside, that inverted wing-back role. Mateus Cunha. Dunkanovic. Koulibaly wins. Got a full-back to Rico Lewis. City have been the better side here. I don't think we've played particularly well at all. Pellegrino. Bamba. Guardiola. Haaland. Misses a penalty, but doesn't miss that one. That's the title for me. I think us losing to City here gives City enough momentum to win the title now. We've seen it so many times. We just can't score goals, man. Why can't we score goals for? We're such a good team. Like, on paper, we're the best team in England for me on paper. We have the best squad. We've worked so hard for this, and then bang. Well, this is where the best teams in the world find a way to get a point. Can we do it? Bamba. Mateus Cunha, who's off the bench, has looked elite. Wow, what a run. And there's goal of the year from Mateus Cunha. He's run about 10 people and scored. We've conceded 2 goals in 2 minutes. And that is the title for me, going to Manchester City. City, after drawing against Forest, had to come and win here at the racecourse in a spot where we've barely lost the game in the last 3 seasons. And City have slapped us. We have not played well. We have not looked good. And that could be the title over. And there we go. And there we go. Manchester City, huh? Manchester City go a point behind us. We're a point ahead with 10 to go. But you know Man City are probably going to win their last 10 games. And we're going to have to go pretty similar to win the title. That is a pretty disappointing loss here. After the form we've been on, that is not a good performance. It is what it is. I don't know how we're going to get the best out of this team. What the hell do you do with Josh Herman? Let me know in the comment section. Do we drop him? Do we drop him? Do we just use him off the bench? Do we put Consigli on the left and put Mohamed up front because he seems to be doing a better business at the moment? Do we just switch it back? Do we switch it back and just go into this and just say, you know what? This is what we played for most part of the season. It will turn true. Is Dennis the guy, or do we not play him because he's not really good enough in here? We've made a mistake. And we're going to have to rectify that by going into the transfer market and buying another central midfielder. I think we've cost ourselves the title this season by selling Mariba, who was an experienced head, playing well this season. Yes, we got good money. And then choosing to buy one out of all the 3 options, the one that was the most risky. The one that has the most flair and the most potential to maybe turn a game on its head, but the one that's probably not the most suited to be in the centre mid on attack. If I had my time again, I probably should have bought Serrano. For if you guys watched the previous episode, would know it was a more well-rounded pick that could grow into a more well-rounded midfielder. But I feel this year's game is so much more well-rated to having good amounts of speed and flair. We went for that sort of player. And right now, as you can see, it's thrown us into disarray. We're only a point clear. And look, I know we lost to Man City, and it is Man City. We're maybe being a bit harsh. But we have not won the league from a position to win the league in the last 3 seasons. So with that being said, maybe the last 2 seasons. This would be season 3 of our title charge. I think it's over. I think we've just lost the title here today. And that's a tough one to take. I'll see you guys next time for the double header against Liverpool and Man United or a Champions League tie. I'll see you guys then. Thank you and goodbye.